Once the TeamCity comes up, the first thing we get is a basically blank page with a button that says create a project. Before I click on this button, let me just explain a couple of concepts to you. So in TeamCity, a project is basically a container, and within that project we can have build configurations, we can have templates, we can have all the definition of source control systems and things like that. A build configuration that will sit inside a project is basically what defines how we compile a source code and how we package it. So the actual thing that we will create in order to compile the code, run the unit test, package the artifact and all that things we need to do is basically done in a build configuration, and every build configuration will be inside a project. You may have multiple build configuration inside a project. You may also have templates in projects. A template is basically a template for a build configuration. If you may have multiple build configurations that are very similar, you can create a template and then create build configurations from that template, so you won't have to do the repetitive tasks. And the last and not the least, all the projects in TeamCity are inherited from a project called root project. So again, if all the projects that you have similar configurations, you put all the common configurations into root projects, as we will see shortly. Back to TeamCity. If I want to create a project, I can just click on create project. The first thing that I invite you to pay attention to is that, as you see at the top, it says administration root project. That tells me that even if I click on administration tab, I will have a project on the left side of the screen. And as you see, I have a root project in here that I can click on, and all these configurations on the left side can be shared and can be inherited by all the projects you create in your TeamCity. So for example, if we create a template in the root project, that template will be available to all the projects in this TeamCity instance. So again, if I click on the TeamCity icon and click on create project, this is where I can start a project. You can go with a quick route basically and create a build configuration as well, or I can just click on manually, which is my preferred way of doing things, and give it a name. Projects are basically used for categorizing your build configuration. For example, if in your company you use .NET and PHP and possibly even like Python or Java, it's good to create one project for example, .NET Framework application, one project for .NET Core applications, and one project for, say, PHP projects, another project for, say, Python or Java projects. By doing that, because the .NET projects will very likely have, say, 80-90% of common configurations, you put the common configurations in the project, and then all the .NET build configurations will inherit those configurations. Likewise, for example, for PHP, if you create a project, you put all the properties of the build configurations that are relevant to PHP in that project. For example, in here I can say my project is called .NET Core projects, something like this, or project, and we click on create. So if I click on the TeamCity icon, you will see that I have a project called .NET Core projects, and I can create another one if I want to. If you want to create more projects, then you have to do it via administration. So as you see now on the root project, there is .NET Core projects. If you want to create, for example, PHP projects, you click on create project and you say I want PHP projects, and we click on create. Again, if I click on TeamCity icon, you will see that we have another project, and you can keep creating projects like this. If we hover the mouse on this tiny button in here and click on edit settings, we go to the configuration of this project, and on the left side you will see that there are some settings, and as I said, you can create build configurations within a project. A build configuration is in fact what we need to compile and package a code, and if we configure any of these settings on the left side of the screen, all the build configurations will have access to that. So in order to continue, we need a source code. You can use your own source code, or I can create a very simple source code of any type and put it on GitHub and you can use it. It doesn't matter what source code we use. Anything I will explain moving forward can be applied to all sorts of frameworks and programming languages. That's not a problem. So let's go to next lecture and start building a given source code.